Hey everyone, CJ here, bringing you the last video of the current season of CJ Subclass Review. This time, we will be looking at the Druid subclasses. Wizards of the Coast have only released 2 Druid subclasses, and they are both in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. The Druid is a versatile class that can cover many roles: healing, supporting, damage dealing, and even a bit of defending, but their subclass specializes them towards a certain role. The Circle of the Land subclass from the player's handbook gives them spellcasting ability, turning them into pseudo-wizards. Circle of the Moon gives them superior wild shape ability and allows them to defend the party in powerful beast and elemental forms. The Circle of the Dream Druid is a healing-focused subclass infused with fairy lores. To bolster their healing capability, they get a number of d6 dice equal to their level. Using their bonus action, they can spend up to half their level's worth of dice to heal targets within 120 feet. It is similar to the Celestial Warlock's feature, except that the target also gets 1 temporary hit point per dice used to heal it. This feature greatly increases the Druid's healing output without straining their spell slot supply. Their other features are mostly utility and adventuring features. While resting, they can use their Hearth of Moonlight and Shadow feature to create a magic sphere that hide their presence. It is like the Leomund's Tiny Hut spell, but it doesn't bar creatures and objects from entering it. But it still provides total cover, which means that creatures inside can't be targeted by creatures from outside. Creatures from outside need to somehow stumble into the sphere before they can even attack the occupants. So it is not as powerful as Leomund's Tiny Hut, but this feature have unlimited uses, so it is still very handy. Later on, they get a feature that let them teleport themselves 60 feet using their bonus action, or teleport a willing target 30 feet using their action. This has limited use, but it is still useful for emergencies and adventuring purposes. Their final feature, Walker in Dreams, let them use either the Dream, Scrying, or Teleportation Circle spell after a short rest. So it is something that happens after a nap, but it can only be used once per short rest, so it can't be spammed, and you don't have to worry about ruining your Druid's sleep pattern. The next subclass is the Circle of the Shepherd. This one is going to cause headache to your Dungeon Master, because it empowers the Druid's beast and fey summoning spells. Controlling conjured creatures is time consuming, and they are such nuisance in combat. Empowering them will just make it worse. Those conjured creatures get 2 extra hit points per hit dice. Some of you may not understand what this means, so let me use the brown bear as example. In their hit points row, you see 34. That's their total hit points, and this 4d10 next to it represents the number of hit dice and the size of the dice used to calculate their hit points. The number 4 here is the number of dice they have, and the 10 here is their hit dice size. That plus 12 is the bonus they get from their constitution, multiplied by the number of hit dice. So by getting 2 extra hit points per hit dice, it means that the brown bear the Druid conjure get 2 times 4 extra hit points, 8 hit points. So it will have a maximum of 42 hit points. Those creatures' attacks also become magical, which means that even liches will be vulnerable to the giant badger that the Druid summon. But summoning beast and fey creatures is not their only shtick. They also have a spirit totem feature that provides an area boon to creatures within the area, meaning it can benefit both the party members and summoned creatures. There are 3 boon options they can choose. Bear Spirit, which gives creature in the aura temporary hit points and advantage on strength check and saves. Hawk Spirit, that lets the Druid use their reaction to give advantage to their allies' attacks. Unicorn Spirit gives creatures in the area a splash of healing whenever the Druid uses a healing spell. At higher level, summoned creatures in the area regain hit points every turn, making it even harder to get rid of them. Their last feature is an emergency summon that happens automatically when the Druid drops to 0 hit points. 4 creatures with challenge rating 2 appears instantly to defend the Druid from harm and attack foes. So 4 polar bears or saber-toothed tigers will suddenly appear and protect the Druid from being finished off by enemies. Before ending this video, let's talk about some creature conjuring issues. While the caster can choose the challenge rating and number of creatures summoned, the Dungeon Master is the one who gets to decide what the actual creatures are, so you may not get the best creature options. Not only that, creature conjuring that involves more than 1 or 2 creatures always bogs the combat down, especially when you have to roll for each creature's attack. Some dungeon masters might just simplify the creatures into a swarm or even use some other shortcut methods. So you should really discuss with your dungeon master how he is going to handle conjured creature combat before choosing this subclass, so that you don't get disappointed by the way he or she handles things. I know some dungeon masters who just lump all the creatures together into a swarm and deal the average damage with 2 attack rolls. Your DM may let you command each creature individually, but you can really annoy other players if you take too long controlling your creatures. So be considerate to everyone around the table and have a discussion about this first. Alright, that's it for the Druid subclass review. If you liked the video or think that it's been helpful, give it a thumbs up. Before I sign out, I'm announcing my Dungeon Mastering tutorial series. This is going to be a tutorial series for complete beginners to intermediate. The first episode will focus on getting a complete beginner Dungeon Master to run a pre-written adventure. Then I will move on to how to use monsters and NPCs and more from there on. So if you are new here and like Dungeons & Dragons, subscribe and click the bell button so that you will be notified when this new series is released. CJ, over and out.